them involved in the club. And so you'll see my name and my Twitter handle down there. Daniel is from Google. He's our Google mentor, and you'll learn more about that later. And Manisha is a PhD student, and she's also helping me with the club. And yes, this call is being recorded. So there's a Zoom recording going on, and I'll be sure to post this on YouTube, Facebook, wherever, so that yeah, all the information is available later. All right, so let's get started. So I just wanted to talk about what DSC is for a second. I don't know if you guys have had time to like look at it, to Google it, and see what you can find on it. But essentially, oh, I'm in the way. 1 second. First time doing this, so it's going to be a few hiccups.
You got this, Nolan.
Thanks, Manisha. So, all right. So DSC is university-based community groups for students interested in Google developer technologies. And so this is a club, started by Google, and there's lots of clubs like this, all around the country, all around the world, in fact. And it's really the idea is for it to be a technology-focused club for anyone to join really on campus. It doesn't matter if you're in computer science or maybe you're in a less STEM-related field. Like, this is supposed to be a club where we make technology and learning about technology accessible to everyone, right? And so it doesn't matter if you're undergraduate, graduate. I don't even mind having some of the faculty on board. In fact, if you're in computer science, Dr. Fani, he is our faculty advisor. And so he'll be supporting us behind the scenes, and we've got we got strong support from Dr. Mahdi, our chairman, and the undergraduate advisor, Dr. Sam. I can't remember her last name right now, but they're very excited about this club, and to see what we can make of it, because truly, this club is going to be what we make of it together, and I feel like there's a lot of potential for what we can do this year. So why start a new club? Like, as you know, I'm actually wearing an ACM shirt. I don't know if you guys have been a part of ACM in the past. I was a co-president a few years back, but definitely over the last couple of years, that club particularly, like, just kind of has fizzled out as far as like the level of activity it had. And being a part of the board, one of the struggles we always had was like coming up with content, and you can have a workshop, but where do you get the material from? And it's a huge time, like there's a lot of time that has to be committed to coming up with material and then hosting a workshop and all that kind of thing. And I really feel like, with the material that Google's able to provide, and you'll learn about how we can interact with other clubs. You'll see why this is going to solve, the DSC has the potential to solve a lot of the gaps that we've had in the past with having tech related organization on campus. And so why start a new club? I really feel like it's the partnership with Google that's really going to solve a lot of these challenges. And so, and that's why starting a new club versus just, trying to continue with ACM or something is, yeah, that's why we kind of went this direction. And so I wanted to go over some of the sign-up responses that you guys have. I'm going to try to pick up the pace a little bit. I don't want to bore you too much, but I was really happy to see that you guys were interested in more than just programming. It's really cool that some of you are interested in leadership. I'll definitely be reaching out to you to see, maybe you want to help us manage the social media or anything like that. Yeah, and lots of people interested in programming, awesome. Marketing, business, writing. I try to put as many categories as I can think of that could be related to, like making a product, especially a technology product. And so awesome. Some of you said you didn't know what Flutter was. Flutter is a mobile, cross-platform mobile framework by Google. It's really cool. We're definitely gonna have a Flutter workshop, and I'm definitely gonna lead it because I'm very passionate about Flutter. But if you've used React before, there's some similarities in the way the components work and widgets work. If you don't know what that means, that's okay. But the way that they actually render to different platforms is different than from React Native, and I really think it's a really smart platform. Firebase, if you don't know what that is, it's Google technology for database and server side and authentication stuff going on in the cloud. And yeah, some of you were added Internet of Things, and I thought that was interesting. And so if we can, as a club, think of something related to Internet of Things to work on as a project or events to have, like that's definitely something we're open to doing. A few of you are interested in game development as well, or one. And we can definitely, with the technology we learn, you can write games, that's for sure. Dr. Sorry, I can't remember his name. Samuel. Can't remember his last name. Anisha, can you help me? You know who I'm talking about? Who's running IGNA right
Yeah,
now?
Dr. Ben Samuel.
Yeah, Dr. Ben Samuel. Yeah, so he's running IGDA. So maybe there's some collaboration we can do with IGDA. And so sign up. So a lot of you said like the activities you wanted to participate in were workshops, competitions, and events. Those are like the highest rated things, and that's awesome. I'm glad to hear that. A lot of kind of what I've been thinking about has been geared towards those type of events. You want to be able to socialize with other students, and some of you are even interested in mentoring new developers and upcoming freshmen. This is like I'm really excited about some of the things you guys are willing or wanting to participate in. So that's awesome. All right, so next up, I want to introduce Danny. He's going to be our Google mentor this year for the club. And so I'm going to open it up to Danny and let him take the stage for a little while.
All righty. Can y'all hear me okay?
Yes, we can.
Excellent. Oh, there I am. Hello, y'all. Howdy from Austin. So yeah, thank you so much for allowing me to pop into y'all's info session. I'm really excited to see everything that y'all work on this year. Looking at some of the responses for the feedback, it looks like y'all have quite a bit of different technology as well as what I call soft skills you are looking to learn, and we are happy to facilitate that learning opportunity for y'all. A little bit about myself. Officially, my name's Daniel Fiorello, but hopefully by the end of this year, all of us will be friends, and you'll call me Danny. My friends call me Danny, so please feel free. I went to Texas Tech University, originally studied management information systems. Before joining this new community developer student clubs back in 2019 to launch in the US and Canada. I was a business to business sales and residential access agreement manager for Google Fiber. So it was my responsibility to work with not only businesses, but residential properties, get them onboarded with Google Fiber, help sell it directly to their communities, host events, create partnerships, and educate all of these businesses and residents about this technology and show them the true power behind having a gigabit internet connection, right? Because as I'm sure some of you realize, working in tech, it's really important to have a symmetrical upload and download speed. It really makes working on projects, working on certain developer tools run a lot smoother. So it was a lot of fun and a great start to my career. But in the short amount of time, 5 years I've been here, I've amassed a large skill set that I would love to pass on to you. So from everything I saw in terms of like role, activity, interests, I love to see y'all wanting to attend workshops to get hands-on learning. I would love to join any social events y'all are having. to help facilitate networking. And I do love the fact that we have such a big group, who's interested in giving back and in mentoring, whether it be freshman and sophomore students or, students above and beyond as well. Mentoring is a big part of how I got to the place I am today. And I think it's something we can all do to give back and go ahead and kind of change the next generation of developers, right? So one of the things I do want to quickly touch on here is the overview of the Developer Student Club, right? So there is a mission that we have here where yes, it is tech focused, but it's about understanding theory and connecting it to practical application. One of the things that we talk about is, the different types of resources we can bring to y'all's community. And so what I want to just take a moment here and discuss is that we have the resources to unlock the right learning methods for you. So whether it's, a more structured sort of learning module like Quick Labs, where it's actually going to introduce a new topic to you like Flutter or Firebase, show you some videos to understand the theory behind it, and then unlock a practical application field at the bottom of the lab to show that you can implement what you have just learned. So regardless of where you come from, right, I want to encourage y'all, we got your back, and don't feel necessarily discouraged if you're not a master or an expert in a particular subject. We want you to come as you are, and we want you to encourage others to join, right? This community is going to be a little unique because instead of us having a event schedule that we want to push on to y'all, we actually are in turn asking y'all, hey, what do you want to learn? And then from there, myself, Nolan, Manisha are going to work together to build out this content and events for you, right? Whether it's myself, whether it's, one of your core officers or leader, Nolan, talking about this technology, or whether we bring in, a Google facilitator, a Google developer expert to help facilitate this learning, we want to help, right? So just make sure to continue sharing feedback with us. Make sure you talk about these different topics that you want to learn, and share this opportunity with your friends, right? Friends, family, if someone's from another university nearby that you think would possibly, learn from one of these events, please share it with them, right? This is meant to be an inclusive community for anyone who wants to learn new skills, new technologies. So we encourage you all to join. With that, I think I've been talking for a minute, so I will turn it back over to you, Nolan, and I will be back later to answer some questions, as well as fill in any other gaps that may have been missed. So thank you for allowing me to speak for a little bit. The floor is yours.
Thanks, Danny. There we go. All right. So kind of to go with what Danny was mentioning, I wanted to introduce the DSC event platform. So if you kind of pre-registered for this event with one of those links that I sent, I know there's a lot going around and it was a little disorganized, but it'll be better next time, I promise. Yeah, so this is the DSC event platform. Basically, all the developer student clubs are on here. When they host it, when other clubs host events, they will be available here. And so if you're interested in a specific thing, it's not something we're covering, but you see, maybe you see a Flutter workshop or a virtual reality workshop or machine learning or something that you're interested in, you're welcome to try and register for those events and attend those and learn those things, and also share them with us. If it's something you're interested in, you should share it with the rest of the UNO DSC community, so that, if we're interested as well, that we can jump on there and learn with you. And so that's dsc.community.dev. Basically, if you have a Google account, you'll be able to sign in here. If you don't have a Google account, you should probably make one. It's going to be useful this year if you're participating in DSC. So, yep. Next, I wanted to introduce the Solution Challenge to you guys. And so, essentially, the Solution Challenge, it's a contest that Google hosts every year where DSC communities build solutions for like a problem that they find in their local community using different Google technologies. And so, Google is hosting this event, this challenge every year. And basically, groups submit their ideas. They submit their solutions at a certain time. I believe it's in, what's the date of submission, Daniel, do you know? Usually around, even if it's an estimate?
Yeah, so this year it was in end of April. I would imagine it's going to be somewhere around that as well. Typically, we have students begin to register for the solution challenge at the beginning of January. So this registration period should open up approximately sometime in January. That's where y'all can actually go through, register, and there'll be some exciting events that'll come with this registration because we want to help y'all through this challenge, right? So there will be more information to come, but yes, submission date is going to be around the end of April. The registration will open up in January of 2021.
Awesome, thank you. So, I mean, that's pretty much right aligned with the end of the spring semester, and so that I think gives us a good timeline to think about. But essentially, the idea that one of the driving forces and motivators and goals of this club is to produce a project or projects for this solution challenge, and so I wanted to kind of throw that out to you, and I wanted to show you what another DSC created in last year's solution challenge, and they actually won, right? So, well, they were one of the winners, and so this is from DSC at UC Berkeley, and I'm going to play their demo video for you right now.
They built here. It's a really cool project. So I'll let you take a look. And Lawrence will be joining us again to ask the team a couple of questions. So let's take a look at the demo.
Corone AI, creating technology for change, because it is time to create technology that helps our doctors. What we did was create a band filled with electrodes that once put on a patient's chest creates images that can then connect to computer screen for easy access. This computer screen can easily be connected to any dashboard that is accessible by a doctor without the doctor having to be in the same room. Our solution provides doctors with a mechanism that allows them to detect which patient is in a more severe condition and how to allocate their resources efficiently. Our machine gives instantaneous results, is portable, and is much, much cheaper compared to the existing methodologies today. This concept is based on electrical impedance tomography. What this does is it creates a tomographic image because of the intersection points of the different electrodes. As you can see, each red circle in this image is one electrode that emits a tiny small amount of current, because of which there is an equipotential change that all the other electrodes face, and that
Okay, so I'm not sure why that cut off so early, but not a big deal. But basically, as you can see, this team made a, using like electrodes, and I watched, if you watch the solution challenge kind of event, the presentation event that was actually just like last week, they talked to the team talked about how they just used parts from their from what they could find at their house, because in the middle of quarantine they didn't have access to the labs at school and that kind of thing, but they used electrodes to actually like map the lungs just from parts at home, so it's really cool what they were able to put together. And yeah, so like I was saying, creating identifying a problem and working on that and working on a solution for that problem throughout the year is going to be, one of the main driving forces on how we decide what events to plan, like as far as workshops and everything. because, you know, obviously we want to give you the tools and the resources and the things you need to know in order to work on that project, whatever it ends up being. And so in the interest of like, okay, so what's kind of our next step? If the end goal is submitting a project or multiple projects, what is the first thing we have to do? Well, we need to come up with an idea or ideas. And so the first event that we want to announce to you guys right now is called the Idea Challenge. And so the Idea Challenge is a pitch competition that will give members the chance to develop an idea to work on a solution challenge. You'll be able to form, the rules will be in more deep. We'll have like another session to explain like the rules and that kind of thing and how the competition will work. But the main idea is that we'll form groups within our club, and you'll be able to, we'll have workshops about, you know, about how to come up with ideas and like, what does it mean to you know, think of a solution and find a problem and that kind of thing. And we'll have a certain time where everyone is working on thinking about an idea and maybe drafting like some mock-ups so you can, and some visualization so that you can create a pitch video that you can share and that can be reviewed and voted on by a panel. And so that's the first event. We plan to kick that off in around 2 weeks, but there's more details coming soon on that. Okay, so now what I want to do is open the floor to everybody. I'm going to unlock, I think everybody has the ability to turn on their video, but I think I can unmute, ask all, yeah, I can unmute everybody. Please mute your mic if you aren't talking, I guess. And then, yeah, if you want to ask a question, this is the time. We have Danny here. You have me and Manisha. So I'm gonna unmute everyone.
If I could jump in, can y'all hear me okay?
Yes, we do.
Excellent, excellent. So I just wanted to quickly run through some of the links that I dropped in the chat because I think it will definitely help us here. So one of the things that Nolan said was to sign up at our DSC event platform page for future events. In the link, what I did was I dropped a link that'll take you directly to y'all's individual community. So that way you can check out new events upcoming once they are published. If you register to sign up for updates, you'll actually get an email automatically sent to you whenever a new event is announced, as well as allowing you to RSVP that way with a little bit more ease. So highly encourage you, please take a moment, join the community, and make sure to share it with your friends. There's a way for you to change your specific type of social media that you want to send it to, right? So you can do it to Twitter, you could do it to whatever. The other link I dropped at the bottom there is the developers the Google developer blog posting, which shows all of the top 10 winners from the Solution Challenge, as well as their promo videos and a little more information about the projects that they worked on. So please go ahead and check it out. I think it's a great place to start, especially with y'all's first event coming up in a couple weeks, which is going to be essentially like an idea-a-thon, right? So get those thinking caps on. No project or idea is too grand or too little. Just make sure to try to keep it in the scope of like an obtainable solution that you could build within like approximately a year, right? But I digress. I'm here to answer questions, so the floor is yours.
Okay, so you can unmute yourself and ask questions to Danny and Nolan and me myself. If you are not quite comfortable with the audio, you can just type in your question in the chat box. Okay.
Yeah, whatever y'all are comfortable with, right? We just want to make sure your questions are answered. If you want to shut off your camera, that's cool. We just want to make sure that everything that was covered in the info session is checking out okay with you. Is anyone having trouble getting to the event platform page that we linked in the chat?
Yeah, so can you hear me all right?
We can.
All right, great. So the first link that you sent us, we just register for it. And what exactly is it supposed to just like inform us about important certain events coming up soon? Is that what that's for, or how does this work?
Correct, yeah. So the DSC Community.dev/the University of New Orleans, the one that I just dropped again in the chat, that's y'all's essentially chapter page. So this is going to be where you could come to see all information about upcoming events, as well as, you know, your organizers and potential sponsors that may be connected to your club. From there, what you can actually do is click the Developer Student Club icon at the top of the page, and that'll take you to our main page, where you can actually see all of the upcoming events from different DSC communities across the world, right? So one of the things that is important to call out here is you can search it by filter of technology, or you could search it by proximity to your, your area. With it being virtual this year, at least at a lot of these universities, y'all are going to be able to join many of these events. So I highly encourage you, check it out. If there's an event that you think is really cool, share it with your friends, share it, in a Slack channel, a Discord channel, if y'all have one at your school. Yeah, hope that helped. Great question too. Thank you.
Yeah, great question. Anyone else? How you feeling, David?
Hi. Hello?
Hi, yeah, you had a question?
Yeah, I do. And this is like a really small question, but you like share it with your friends and things like that. So does that mean someone outside of the University of New Orleans could enter if they wished?
Yeah, so that is a-okay. Just when you are sharing, one of the things that is important to note here is that these resources are intended for like higher education. So they could be students of other universities. Just make sure they are 18 years or older. A lot of these resources are geared to that kind of specific age range, but absolutely no problem. If you want to invite a friend or colleague from another university, that is okay. And Matthew, I saw you ask in the chat as well. That's a-okay. Feel free to socialize this with friends. We want y'all to have a community which is inclusive and diverse. And one of the things that is unique about this is with it being virtual, it's just a click for someone to join versus, having them to physically get up, perhaps join on campus, which kind of opens up a little bit more of an issue, right? Depending on if the campus is open, if they want, non-students on campus, that sort of thing. But as long as we're in the virtual platform, we are a-okay with it.
Awesome, thank you.
Of course. Any other questions though? That was great.
Oh, I'm back. Hello.
Hey.
So like, during this like whole process and stuff like that, how much guidance are we gonna have from like, I'm guessing like you guys are like kind of head of the team, like, so I'm kind of trying to understand more of the scope of everything. Is it kind of like the like the robotics competition type thing where it's like, oh hey, I'm just here to like watch you and make sure you don't do illegal things, or like how does it
Oh,
work?
you mean for the solution challenge specifically, correct?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, okay. So with the solution challenge, we're not like here to monitor what y'all are doing. And let me kind of take a step back and explain a little bit more about solution challenge. What we want y'all to do is identify a problem in your local community and then utilize one or more Google technology or service to solve that problem, right? By registering for the solution challenge, all that's going to do is unlock certain events that Google developers are going to host from our end to help you learn technologies and get through this process, because that, as as our mission statement, helping students connect theory to practical application, this is our way to really lock in these new skills and to help y'all through this process. So we're not necessarily going to look over your shoulders and be like, oh, hey, you shouldn't do that. But what we are going to do in the final submission process is we're going to review the code. We're going to ask you to, upload your GitHub repository so we can kind of see who worked on what. If we can provide a little feedback, that is something we try to do, depending on the number of projects we have. It is something we tried to do last year, but it's not necessarily to micromanage or anything. We want this to be an opportunity for you all to go through a full developer cycle and really, most importantly, not have to rely on your own dollars to work with some of these amazing developer technologies, right? I know the GCP platform is affordable, but I don't want it is rather silly for us to expect y'all to pay to build these projects. You're in school, we have the resources, so we're going to help with credits and things of that nature to help unlock these tools that are traditionally hidden behind a paywall. So yeah, I hope that helped. If you need another specific thing touched on, I'm happy to readdress it for you though.
Could I follow up on that, Dan?
Yeah, of course.
And so you asked one of the things you talked about was like guidance, not just, restrictions.
And I'm really sorry. I also wanted to point this out. Thank you so much for answering my question. And I wasn't asking that to be all like, oh, are you going to be looking over our shoulder? I just know personally I'm fairly new into this realm and I need like a little bit of hand holding at first. It's possible.
Totally fine. And that's why I mentioned the events that are going to be coupled with registration. In fact, if you look on YouTube, there are some of those event series that were recorded last year. So you can kind of get an idea of what we're going to be providing to you. Essentially, it's going to be like a 4-step approach where we're going to take you through a traditional developer cycle. We're going to have Google developers on a community page where you can ask questions and get specific feedback. So we are really here not just to be like, oh, that's wrong, but to show you, hey, this is why if you change it, you can make a greater, a greater product. It can run smoother, all of these different things, because it is more of a mentorship and a guidance versus just review, right? This isn't, don't think of it as like another class assignment. Think of this as like the fun exercise where you actually get to unlock these tools and see them working in real time for the instant gratification, right? So I hope that helped, and absolutely totally fine.
Yeah. And Selena, we'll definitely, me and Manisha have been thinking about the plan for the semester and we're going to continue working on that. But yes, we will be, we'll be hand holding, like really anyone who ends up being on the core team and leadership, like our goal is to help the club move forward towards a solution, submitting a solution for Solution Challenge. So that is going to mean whatever we have to do that, we're going to, some people might not have as much experience, and like you're saying, maybe you don't know where to get started, but we're going to plan our events and all our announcements in a way that it guides you step by step. And just so you have an idea of what me and Manisha were kind of discussing yesterday was that, kind of the first thing we all need we need an idea if it's just one project we all work on together, maybe it's 2 or 3. The smaller the better, I think, because it's going to be hard to like balance a bunch of workshops for more than 2 projects. But basically the first thing we need is an idea. So that's going to happen. That has to happen, in the next month or so, maybe a little more. And then after we decide an idea or ideas, it's design time. And so we'll have workshops about designing. We'll guide you. I have a lot of industry experience. I've been working in software development for 2 years now. I've used cloud technologies. I've been using Google Cloud on my own time, hobby-wise. And so, yeah, we'll be here to help guide the teams. If it's a team, whoever's working on these projects, we'll be helping to guide those projects from start line to finish line. And hopefully I'll be a part of the project as well. I'd like to be, but I'm also okay with taking a back seat. So, and just being a mentor. Does that answer your question, Oh,
Yeah, it does. Thank y'all so much. Cause like I'm the type of smart that doesn't know what questions to ask. So that was really helpful. Thank y'all.
okay, you're welcome.
Yeah, I wanted to ask a question for Daniel. Like, that's a follow-up question to the question of Selena. So that means in order to unlock different like actual events by Google Developers Group, so we need to be a part of a solution challenge, right?
Partially, right? So for certain aspects, yes, right? Some of these events that we'll push out in January, we are going to push them specifically to students who register for the solution challenge. But what's great about these individual workshops that y'all can host, utilizing Quick Labs, or Code Labs, we will create a custom campaign code for y'all, which will unlock the paid version of the platform to actually be able to make use of the resources. So it's just a matter of y'all letting us know what event you're trying to host, what campaign or what quest you're looking to unlock. I create a campaign code from my end. At the day of the event, the students drop in this campaign code. Good to go. Well, except for the learning and the actual cadence of the event. But yes, it is that simple. Does that answer your question, or is there another part you need me to circle back to?
Yeah, that's perfectly answers my question. Thank you.
My pleasure.